look nice in that lovely yellow t-shirt. And truth to power.
Speak truth to power.
Speaking truth to power.
I am. So the polls, they actually say that feeling safe and secure is the most important thing for Australians. Our peaceful, life-affirming demand here at Port Bonython is also this bloody damn obvious. We need to call Santos to account for fueling the climate crisis, for stealing our precious wildlife, our homes and our livelihoods. It is totally absurd that governments gift destroyers like Santos billions in subsidies for their survival, whilst those citizens who are actually dealing with the aftermath of the floods and fires receive so little support. Whilst those citizens, as I was saying, they're still doing it tough after years, many of them. When the chips are down, Australians look after each other. But our major parties don't get that. They don't seem to give a damn. In this cost of living crisis, they sided instead with the big corporations, like this one, Santos, not with the people. We cannot be voting for politicians who lack the backbone to take a stand on the issue of this worsening climate and what that means to all Australians for their well-being. We've been blindsided by successive governments, and now the reckoning is here. And it's bleak. It's really bleak, beyond our imaginings. Will our kids and our grandchildren, hiding in bunkers below a scorched earth on their very last supplies, remember this pre-election moment in time, a time when people failed to voice their demand for a rapid phase-out of fossil fuels and a transition that could generate thousands of jobs in renewable infrastructure all around the country? Electrification that could restore the economy and help the cost of living crisis. Yep, we are stuck between a rock and a hard place. But recognising this is a powerful first step. After that, after we've got this, we have to talk. Lobby, petition, door knock. Behind this camera is the star of door knocking. And then we can protest. And also, we can vote in the right place. And then we actually don't stop. All our actions, no matter how big or small, can make a difference. It's worked before. There are very real consequences, sadly, if we don't get this and we fail. Exposing the destructive forces causing one of the most cataclysmic events the Earth has ever known is actually critical. We have a duty of care to do whatever we can to mitigate this climate crisis. I'd like to believe that we are not already on an unstoppable collision course towards societal and environmental collapse. But right now, I'm actually bloody terrified. The choice before us is stark, says Roger Helen. Immediate radical intervention or near certain extinction. We are literally fighting for our lives here, for the countless innocents and this one precious, gasping earth that has seen life flourish here for so long. Nothing is safe. Nothing is safe anymore. We must stop Santos, the godfathers of climate chaos, from fueling the floods, the fires, the famine, the wars, and massive extinctions. We've got to stop them. So that's why we are all here today. Is that enough? Thank you for listening, everybody out there.
Thank you.
Really, really, really. Thank you all for being here. This is an amazing group, Extinction Rebellion. Feels like family, because we all get it. Yeah. Thanks. Thanks, Kathy.
Joe, and thank you for your work, which I know involves so much more than sitting down in a not very comfy location in a windy spot. Yes, it would be nice to have some drumming today, wouldn't it? I think that might be too much for the staff here to bear. As Joe was saying, we do, and Dr. Anne as well, we do care about the staff here. They have a difficult job, and we hope they do get paid for it, but we also do hope that as the corporation changes and must continue to change, they are transitioned to better employment in newer industries and newer ways that help them to survive well and to be proud of what they do. It's very difficult to be involved in what has been a thriving industry but is now becoming a dinosaur, and it must be hurtful for them. We genuinely sympathise with their distress to know that they've been involved in an industry which doesn't benefit people, used to benefit people when we all didn't know better. But now that we do, that's got to change, and they and this industry will have to change with it. A lot of people say that renewable energy can't solve our problems. Well, here in South Australia, we're in a really interesting situation. More than 82%, even more than that, of our electricity is produced from sun and wind. The sun, look up in the sky, is the Earth's best and cheapest nuclear reactor. It's continually splitting molecules and atoms to create an astonishing amount of energy, which we see most days. Today, not so much, because it's a bit overcast. And we're grateful for that, because it's a little bit cooler here at the gates of the Port Bonython fuel facility. However, yes, back to wind and sun here in South Australia. We are fortunate to be in the place in the world which produces the highest proportion of its electricity from renewable energy. And we don't need very much gas to top it up when we do. Less and less gas. So why are electricity bills so high in our state? Well, there is a reason. When we do have to use gas in vanishingly small amounts, the companies that supply it are not controlled in the prices that they can charge. So they charge like the proverbial wounded bulls, and we, the customers, have to bear that cost in our electricity bills. Again, government policy to assist and support the Australian electricity market operator might be able to solve some of that. We're wondering why that isn't happening faster. We're wondering why the government isn't introducing policies which help people to put more solar panels on their roofs and have home batteries to assist the very large grid-scale batteries which we already have. One of the first in the world at Hornsdale, not far from here in the mid-north of South Australia, and many other batteries, one up Blythe. These are the things that keep our renewable energy ticking over. Other good news is that the major users of electricity in Australia are aluminium smelters. Between them, they use 10% of all the electricity we produce. They're going renewable. Introducing renewable energy
so
near their
4 of them, 2 on each of those vehicles, got in them. They've got IOR on the side. Well, one of them has, and they,
little bit of movement in the vehicles in this plant. We're remaining here making a point. One of those points is about the fragility of this facility, in that this is just one place where oil and gas are dealt with. Other countries in the world are also in a fragile state with narrow pipelines bringing in their fossil fuel energy. They could be much more secure.
Thank you.
I looked to see if there's any spot, but you can see the boat, but it's not good view.
You can only do it from over there.
Quite soon, in May, the annual general meeting of Santos will be held, and we're looking forward to news from the company that they will be changing their business model. We know that the price of gas is important internationally, and the supplies are still being pumped out of our country. We know that Santos is exporting overseas, but we don't restrict them at the problem. We know that they're using the lower supply with shorter supply because they're exporting so much. Here in Australia, they're using that supposed shortage to push the prices up, and they're demanding that the government helps them to open new gas and oil facilities. One of those is in New South Wales, in the forest. The Samoa people of the Pilbara Forest are not happy about this incursion into their land and the dangers that it presents. The rural fire service in New South Wales has refused to deal with any fires in the Pilbara Forest because they say that the residues and storages of gas in that area make the fires too dangerous. And of course, fires are an increasing risk. So the fires will not burn the forest. And that even now, when full production has not been achieved, they're only supposedly in test mode in that forest. They're waiting on building a very large pipeline to take that gas to population centres in New South Wales. How much more assistance would it be to create renewable energy in communities, build grid-scale batteries,
I just need check your volume. It's hard to do.
Thanks to Sarah for that note. The volume's a little bit low. We've actually had a bit of a technical problem with our microphone as well, which is hanging by a little bit of a thread of a wire, but hope that's a little bit better. The other thing that we're going to hope that will happen at the annual general meeting of Santos next week is that the shareholders start to question the profitability of the company and start to think about whether their shares are really of such good value. We don't know what the future of the company is, but we hope that it can turn a corner and create better jobs for its people, or turn into parts of the industry that are not so damaging. They have a great amount of intellectual property there. They are smart people We wonder why they continue in such an unprofitable and hazardous industry. Many people say that the population of Australia is so small that we don't create much in the way of carbon emissions. That would be true if we were just counting the emissions that we produce here. Well, in Australia we export a lot. We dig, and we pull out gas, oil, and of course coal, and we put it on ships and we send it around the world. Newcastle in the eastern seaboard is the world's largest coal port, and the liquid natural gas that we produce, Santos and other companies produce, we are the third largest exporter of it actually. In fact, I think we even just beat Qatar. We might be the second largest exporter of it now. This fuel, it sounds so clean, liquid natural gas. Doesn't it sound lovely? It sounds like something you might make a little cocktail out of. Well, to produce liquid natural gas, you use a lot of energy, in the form of gas usually, to compress it and put it into those big ships with the round marshmallow things on. It's under enormous pressure so that it can be transported. That's the sad thing about liquid natural gas. And of course, when it is used, like coal, like oil, like other kinds of gas, it creates carbon, and it's the carbon dioxide and carbon monoxide and methane in our atmosphere that act as greenhouse gases warming the planet. People still argue about whether that's the case, whether there is carbon in the atmosphere and whether it's causing that damage. You can ignore the evidence from scientists, you can ignore the evidence from the defence experts, and increasingly ignore the evidence from the insurance companies. But between them, I think you'll have to say that represents a pretty firm body of expertise that we should pay attention to.
Right, we've been here nearly
11. It was 11 a.m.
Was it?
Yeah, was it that late? Was it? Yeah, no, we left.
50 minutes have been on.
Yeah, because we left. Monday. Yeah, I think so. I think I'm thinking.
Our rebels, as usual, are here for the long haul, and although tired, they are steadfast in making their gentle and well-mannered point about the risks of this facility and the risks of its products.
Hey, I have to.
We are now going to close this live stream and bring you some updates about what is happening. We're expecting a visit from the local police or some other action
Christmas is coming. Anyway.
that will take this demonstration to the next level. So thank you for watching, and